coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. As the city of Swift Current prepares to host the 2019 Western Canada Summer Games, the organizing committee is rallying financial support from the community. As 2018 marks the 100th anniversary to the end of World War I, a unique exhibition is touring the country, with its final stop now at the Art Gallery of Swift Current. Keepsakes of Conflict is a rare opportunity to view wartime souvenirs or trench art. The Swift Current SPCA relies on the generosity of local residents throughout the year to keep its doors open at the shelter. And one of the most popular fundraisers is the SPCA's annual calendar. Thanks for joining us here today. As the sponsorship drive continues for the Western Canada Summer Games in Swift Current, another sponsor has come on board. As the city of Swift Current prepares to host the 2019 Western Canada Summer Games, the organizing committee is rallying financial support from the community. Innovation Credit Union is the latest business to come on board, with an investment of $25,000 in the patron category of the Games.
So that allows us to, in our case, I think we're going to be the main sponsor of the Athlete Village. So we're pretty excited about that because that's where all of the athletes get to go back and rest, and we'll be able to help them out with their stay here in Swift Current. And we think that's a good time for us to show that the Innovation Credit Union and the credit unions of Saskatchewan are in support.
Community support, which is welcomed by the Games Committee, as the city of Swift Current is required to raise a specific amount to host the Games, alongside the $1.5 million commitment already in place from the province of Saskatchewan.
We're roughly over a quarter of our way to that goal. Our target is roughly $900,000 to $1 million of what we need for cash support to put on the Games, as well as value in kind. Okay, so we have a strong community of industry, like basically anybody that has assets that we can use. We'll be looking to talk to them in the next 8 to 9 months, and we've already had quite a few come on board already. So it's been fantastic to get the support that we've had so far.
And in the coming months, work will continue behind the scenes as Swift Current prepares to host the upcoming Summer Games.
Going into next year, the first quarter is going to be very key for bringing on more sponsors and whatnot. And then closer to the Games, we'll have more call for volunteers, and all of a sudden, like nothing, it's going to be here, and it'll be our time to showcase the Southwest.
1,700 athletes competing in 16 sports will meet in Swift Current next August for the 2019 Western Canada Summer Games. Wishing you the best this holiday season and into the new year. For Mayor Dennis Perreault, City Council, and staff of the City of Swift Current. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the management and staff of Chinook Refrigeration and Air Conditioning, serving Southwest Saskatchewan since 1976. A unique exhibition is underway at the Art Gallery of Swift Current, showcasing trench art. We find out more in this report. As 2018 marks the 100th anniversary to the end of World War I, a unique exhibition is touring the country, with its final stop now at the Art Gallery of Swift Current. Keepsakes of Conflict is a rare opportunity to view wartime souvenirs or trench art. Julia Kruger is a researcher with the exhibition and explains trench art in more detail.
And what it basically is it's moving away from the idea of defining trench art as a set group of objects. And instead, it's about understanding the makers, being open to different types of makers, different types of materials, and different types of objects. And the thing that unites them all together is the fact that they're somehow related to armed conflict. So that could be literally related, but it could also be like temporally or spatially related. So it could be somebody who maybe comes back after a conflict and makes some type of object at that point.
She adds that the pieces in the exhibit span various timelines, from the Boer War, World War I and II, to Afghanistan. Mementos collected from museums and armories across the country, all with the focus of educating the viewing public of the numerous war efforts and the psychological aspects soldiers faced while on duty, and in later years through convalescence upon returning home.
So one of the reasons would be that it was made by civilians to sell to service people. I think it's still enduring material. It's like the letters, where you would have an industry that's basically collapsed due to the war that's going on, and they then realize that there's a new market. So they could sell little bits of beautiful embroidery to soldiers that would then mail that back home to their loved ones. A reason that somebody who serves might make it is what we talked about in the lecture today, was this idea of psychologically working through some of those difficult times in one's life, when it has to do with the industrial war machine being uncontrollable, and maybe there's a little bit of control that you can get back by taking that bullet that was designed to kill you and bringing humanity back into it by making it into something that you then control, like a lighter. It can also be a way to remember the war, and in fact, it's been known that people would travel back to an area of conflict and then buy trench art from the civilians who are there digging up the materials and then making them into trench art.
And with over 80 pieces ranging from brass, metal, to wood, the exhibit is set up in a unique fashion for the viewing public.
The goal was to try and make sure that they're maneuvered around the space so that when the viewer or the audience comes in, that they aren't bombarded with so many objects, that they actually have time to sit and look and contemplate the different pieces. So some of the works we have gathered together in a bit of a collection of smaller items all together, and then that was kind of in order for people to spend time
to around $300,000 a year, which is what we need to keep the shelter operating. And the greatest percentage of that, probably 80% plus, does come from the community in the form of fundraising and grants and the fees that we get from adoptions as well.
The 2019 Swift Current SPCA calendars are $10 each and available from the shelter, the SPCA bookstore, and various local businesses. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.